Howdy, howdy. It's Devil here, and welcome to this video where we're going to go through some of the details of the upcoming Prophet and Warlock DLC. I'm going to go over some of the campaign changes that I can see in the two posts that CA has up, specifically the units, and I guess we'll do a little bit of guessing as to what they're going to be like and how they're going to change the factions. Now, I'll go over the units last and put them, go over some of the units that they have in game to do sort of a comparison. We're going to go over some of the campaign mechanics in the Q&A that was listed on a separate page first. I will go over every last little bit and just to see if there's anything that is really interesting that stands out. So the fact here is just on the Total War blog. So the great serpent god of Sotek may sleep. The great serpent god Sotek may sleep, but Tenenhuan, his most devoted prophet, does not. The time has come for the foul Skaven to pay the butcher's bill for their plague-spreading acts, and pay they will with their very lives. Tenenhuan's marshals, his fellow red-crested skinks, there will be sacrifice, vast crimson sacrifice. Only when the temple city altars are drenched with Skaven blood will the serpent god become manifest and enact his divine wrath. As a dwarf, I like this. This Sotek fellow sounds like my kind of lizard, I guess. But the Skaven do not sit idly by while Tenenhuan plans his crusade, sending great warpstone deposits in the jungles of Lustria. Okay, we talked about them probably being in Lustria. The arch-warlock engineer Ikitclaw has claimed the Star Tower in the name of Clan Skyr, so they'll probably be fighting in the middle. As a staging post from which to delve deep into the continental interior with the Forbidden Workshop at his disposal. So Forbidden Workshop, probably something like the Forge for the dwarfs. Ikitclaw will bend the raw stuff of chaos into his twisted designs. Well, I guess he should have sort of the Forge, because this is really the technical. Ikitclaw is sort of the tech-savvy Skaven, right? So they'll be forging ingenious and cataclysmic weapons and placing the Warlock Engineer on a collision course with the Prophet of Sotek. So the campaign pack, the Prophet and the Warlock, includes 2 powerful new legendary lords with new quest chains, legendary items and skill trees, Clan Skyr, the Skaven, and the Cult of Sotek with the Lizardmen with unique new campaign mechanics. And some of them are interesting. I have already read through this once. 2 new additional lord types, so that's basic lords, and they have a hero type, which is fantastic. And 9 new battlefield units and variants, including the bullet-spewing rattling guns. Those look really fun. And teams of fearsome ripperdactyls. Unleash the ultimate devastation with the Clan Skyr Doom Rocket, or summon the aspect of the very serpent god himself into battle with the great invocation of Sotek. New regiments of renown to unlock, recruit, and fields. For full details, go to your to get this Lord Pack. Head over to the Steam page and read. I've already got mine ordered, and I'll be ready to go the first day it is out. So fact, when will the Prophet and the Warlock be released? It'll be Wednesday, the 17th of April. Wednesday, we hear you say, you read correctly, it's the Good Friday bank holiday here in the UK that week, so just to ensure their developers on hand to address any unforeseen issues. So happy Easter. Happy Easter. Is there a pre-purchase discount? Yeah, 10%. It's actually really cheap. It's like $9 or $10 Canadian. So I mean, it'll be $2.99 American. Anyways, with the new legendary lords, will the new legendary lords be fighting for control of the vortex? Yep, both Tenenhuan and Ikit will fight for the control of the Great Vortex with their unique new faction mechanics, which can be experienced in both this campaign and Mortal Empires. Will the new legendary lords be available in both the Eye of the Vortex and Mortal Empire campaigns? Yes. The Prophet and the Warlock will be available to play in both. What new units will be in the Prophet and the Warlock? There will be new units to bolster both the Lizardmen and Skaven lineups, and they look fantastic. This is just what they needed for the longest time, as I mean, everyone's been saying. But for full information, we'll go and look at the Steam page. So what's the free content that will be released alongside the DLC? This is the really interesting part for me. We have a lot of free content in the chamber that will be available to everyone who owns Total War Warhammer 2, regardless of whether you buy the Prophet and the Warlock or not. There's never been a better time to go back and play the game, especially if you're a Skaven or Lizardmen fan. Like, really, this should be quite interesting. They're doing some tweaks. I imagine they're doing some things to set up for Game 3, which they're deep in the development of. Really, they have this DLC, and then they're going to have the pre-order DLC and probably an update of the Empire to go with Game 3. So they're probably just picking up little things to match up with Game 3. So it will be interesting to see what the free content is, what changes happen, and I think I'll do an episode just guessing what the changes to the DAOE may be. Highly unlikely that there'll be many changes in the campaign for the DAOE, but hopefully there's a few little changes in the unit. So yes, there will be a new free legendary lord to play as. So I wonder who that will be. It has to be Bretonnia, right? Because there's a big Bretonnian change, yeah. But also coming along this DL side will be the Doomsayers update for all players. A refresh of the Skaven and Lizardmen factions with an overhaul of Bretonnia and the Mortal Empires campaign. This update could easily be our most extensive yet. Now that's saying something. So this will be really interesting. It's very inexpensive, but they said it's very extensive. So it'll be interesting. This update could easily be our most extensive yet. So everyone's going to get a touch here. We'll be getting into all the details soon, but here's a quick taster of what's in store for both Bretonnia as well as an insidious new feature for the Skaven Under Empire. So the Skaven Under Empire is a new feature coming to all Skaven Legendary Lords and the Prophet of the Sotek on release day, and that's exactly the Vampire Coast mechanic, which almost everyone said this would be fantastic for the Skaven, and they're doing it. So following the release of Vampire Coast, we saw a lot of fans calling for something similar for the Skaven, and we listened. The Pirate Coves mechanic in Curse of the Vampire Coast laid the foundations for this feature, but it's much more in-depth and allows the Skaven factions to build a secret base of operations known as an Undercity deep beneath any settlement through conquest or the use of agent actions. This will be fantastic. I really love this. This is going to be irritating as a dwarf, but it'll be fun irritating if there is such a thing. So once established, a whole host of building options will be available, including wealth, resources, and corruption buildings. Undercities also support the ability to either summon a verminous army to rise up and attack the settlement above. It's going to be fun. Or, if you're playing as Clan Skyer, to detonate a Doomsphere device which, if not detected, can blow the settlement above to ruins. This is so Skaven. That's great. I read a book. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was just a short story where the Ikit was, or maybe it was watching a lore video where Ikit was going to try and blow up a dwarf keep, and he had one of these bombs but never got it off. Anyways, remaining hidden is key to developing the Under Empire to its fullest, but with each addition to the tunnels and warrens, the risk of being spotted grows even greater. So that's going to be a really fun mechanic. If spotted, the Undercities can, of course, be destroyed. A little bit of rat poison goes a long way. I think this is a call to the dwarf tech tree where you can get rat poison. So I bet you it has something to do with the Under Empire. So once you have rat poison, it'll probably help you slow the Empire. It can be destroyed by those that rule settlements above the ground. Discovering whether a verminous nest lies beneath the settlement can be achieved through the construction of specific buildings, which is good. Deploying heroes in close proximity to search for ratmen, or for the Skaven to blow their cover by building too much, which is fantastic. This makes the Under Empire a truly cat and mouse feature. I love the idea. I don't know how well it's going to be done in this first iteration, but it's just a great idea. So anyways, cat and mouse feature where settlement owners above ground can be blissfully unaware of the activity below until it's all too late. Additionally, all Lizardmen legendary lords will be able to unlock a quest chain to seek out Lord Croak, the last of the first generation of Slan. So this is interesting because a lot of people thought Lord Croak would be the legendary lord, but you can summon him. And I love the way they're doing this, and this is exactly how Grombrindle the White Dwarf should be handled. I wish they would do this because I really don't like having him as a legendary lord. I like having him as a legendary lord because he's absolutely awesome, but it's not correct. He should be like Lord Croak is described of here. So, although technically dead, his spirit remains and still exerts its power over the living world. So once Croak is found, he will join the player's faction as an immortal hero. Perfect. Like a legendary hero, which instead of a legendary lord. This is exactly what Grombrindle should be. It'd be fantastic if he was like that. Boasting a completely unique skill tree and a devastating campaign map abilities. So what this also does is it sets up Felix and Gotrek as immortal heroes, and other, they're really setting up the table here. They're setting the table to bring in a lot of really interesting characters into the game as legendary heroes, which will also make multiplayer really fun as well. So it'll be interesting to bring in Lord Croak into multiplayer as a legendary hero. I hope he's like the Green Knight, and he could be brought in as a legendary hero. It'll be quite interesting. But it sets up a lot of really interesting gameplay to look forward to. So, anyways, he has a completely unique skill tree and devastating campaign map abilities. So Lord Croak should be interesting. I am definitely going to watch one of Loremaster I'm going to watch Loremaster of Sotek's first campaign. He'll probably live stream it, I would imagine. He's been live streaming a little bit more lately. But anyways, what's in the free Old World update that will be released alongside the DLC? Well, Bretonnia will be getting a number of updated features, which all look good for Bretonians. They're sort of pansies, but whatever. Anyways, one of these is the vow system. Wow. It almost sounds like someday they'll get to the point where honor is everything. Anyways, available to all, like that vow system. It's not, not like a grudge system, but anyways. Available to all Bretonian legendary lords, prophetesses, and paladins. Replacing the existing vow skills, each character will need to pledge themselves to a vow and undertake a task to demonstrate their devotion. I do like this mechanic for the Bretonians. I mean, it is very thematic, and it should make for an interesting campaign, I hope. I'm trying to think of who I would like to see do a Bretonian campaign. Actually, it might be fun to see Janet on occasion do a Bretonian campaign. I don't know if he'll do one, though. Anyways, upon taking up their pledge, the character will receive a trait linked to the conditions of the task, which could be anything from defeating enemies in battle to constructing certain buildings in their home region. I just love this. I mean, it's like, like the Grudge sign, kind of like the Grudge system light, sort of like maybe a bit of combined with the hunter system for Norska. Sort of these ideas of having something interesting within the game and within the campaign is just, I love every one of these things, and they're fantastic for the game. They'll be great. It'll be great viewing as well to watch someone play through these campaigns. So upon completion of the task, the vow will be granted to the character, and the character will be able to progress onto subsequent vows. Once completed, each vow will grant the character a selection of buffs and benefits, such as upkeep reduction for specific units, increased armor, or even immortality. Beyond the brand new vows system, Bretonnia have also received a load of other updates, which include new technologies, a new Trident of Manan weapon for Alberic. Hopefully they make Alberic a little more interesting. A new Confederation dilemma. All Bretonnian lords start the game mounted in campaign by default. I wonder what's going to be mounting them. If I know Bretonnia, it's probably sheep. Anyways, free peasant mob upkeep when not exceeding the peasant economy cap, that's a great idea. I love the free upkeep concept in the Tomb Kings, and I think free peasant upkeep when you're not exceeding peasant economy, I think that's a fantastic idea. And I wish they would extend that to some of their lower level peasant units, like the, not just the peasant mobs, but the conscripts, General Bretonnian garrison improvements, increased turn duration for the Green Knight, and unlimited Green Knight uses upon reaching level 5. So I can't wait to see someone do a campaign. It'll definitely be interesting, and we'll see what they've done. I really want to watch someone who's passionate about Bretonnia and their campaign mechanics to really see how good it is. When will the free content be available? December 17th. Will a Prophet and the Warlock be released on MacOS and Linux? Yes, this will be coming shortly after the release. Stay tuned. Okay, so that is that. That's sort of the basic. I think the most interesting part here is they're talking about this being really possibly the most extensive update yet. Could be easily our most extensive update yet. Very interesting. I love that they're expanding Skaven. I've been talking about this ever since the release of Warhammer 2 for over a year, and I guess a year and a half now. It's been a while. And hopefully this is really starts to bring the Skaven into their own, where they're very interesting as an enemy. You know, I look at them more as an enemy. I will try and watch. I'm going to watch some Skaven campaigns. Definitely, hopefully, Arch Warhammer plays a Skaven campaign. I love sort of his. He loves Skaven, and I want to watch him play a Skaven campaign. You know, and Loremaster of Sotek. I'd like to see him play a Lizardmen campaign, and I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, should be really interesting. So we'll get on to the other sort of information for the units. I just want to go through this about the content first. So the Prophet of the Warlock, the latest Lords pack, introducing 2 rival Lords. By the Vortex, 2 powerful legendary Lords with quest changes. Okay, this looks like all the same. Yep. New regiments of renown. Background, Great God of Sotek. Yep. And naturally spaces. Okay, so this is different. So the Great Serpent God Sotek may sleep at 10-1. The Skaven will... Oh, this is new here. Okay. Ikit Claw, like all Skaven kind, is naturally suspicious, untrusting, and untrustworthy, and treacherous. His aptitude for science and invention is unrivaled. But, as well as being the greatest Skaven warlock engineer of all time, Ikit Claw has also developed an awesome command of the winds of magic. His exceptional scientific knowledge and magical powers have made him indispensable to the Council of 13. In his quest for destruction, Ikit seeks to realize his grandest design, the mighty Doomsphere, and he will stop at nothing to unleash it upon the world. Clan Skyer brings several unique faction features and mechanics to Total War Warhammer 2. So Clan Skyer Forbidden Workshop. Well, with access to the infamous Forbidden Workshop, Clan Skyer players can spend resources to upgrade various units such as Doom Wheels. Oh, this is different than the Forge. Interesting. Doom Wheels, Doom Flares, and weapons teams with powerful new stat boosts and attributes. Cool. As the player upgrades each category, they will unlock further ancillaries and eventually new regiments of renown unique to the Forbidden Workshop. Cool. Workshop progress requires food and warp fuel, a new resource gathered after battles. New research tiers in the workshop may be unlocked by completing unique missions, but the deadliest invention by far that the workshop offers is the Warp Storm Doom Rocket. So, the Warp Storm Doom Rocket. Doom Rockets are outlandishly powerful weapons deployed in battle as an army ability. So these will most likely be in campaign only. They are crafted in the Forbidden Workshop and can be stockpiled for use, though only 1 Doom Rocket from the stockpile may be launched per battle. Maybe that's sort of like the nuke. Perhaps the most powerful weapon wielded by any of the races is Warhammer 2. A single Doom Rocket is capable of wiping out multiple units in a single strike and sending dust and debris skywards into incinerating mushroom cloud. I definitely want to watch this Skaven campaign now, just to watch someone glob up a whole enemy and wipe them all out with 1 Doom Rocket. It'll be hilarious. Doomsphere. While the Under Empire is a feature newly available to Skaven factions, see the Doomsphere update notes for more details, only Clan Skyer can build the Doomsphere within the Undercities they establish. Interesting. Okay. This immense warpstone bomb is powerful enough to completely destroy any settlement it is constructed below. That is fucking so Skaven. Unique Lord, a Warlock Master. The Warlock Master is a caster lord who uses the lore of ruin in battle. Warlock Masters have unique skills which grant further bonuses to Doom Flayers, Doom Wheels, and weapon teams. They may be upgraded to ride a Doom Flayer or a Doom Wheel in battle. Oh my god. That'll be interesting in multiplayer if you can ride a Doom Wheel or a Doom Flayer as a mount with a Warlock Master. I could see this Warlock Master very quickly becoming interesting if they're cheap enough. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, I doubt they're going to be better than Croak, but they might be interesting if they're cheap enough. Unique units. So Rattling Gun Weapons Team. We talked about those during the... Yeah, geez, they look fantastic. Rattling Gun Weapons Teams. Specialist anti-infantry gun teams bearing the rotating rapid-firing Rattling Gun. Rattling guns are heavy damage dealers, which also suppress their targets, slowing their movement, which is interesting. So when you hit something with a Rattling Gun, it slows things down as well as doing a lot of damage to it. It doesn't say armor piercing, which is okay. I expected them to be armor piercing. I imagine they'll be short range with a debuff to speed, probably sort of like 30%, 24%, like a some spells. Warlock Jezzails. This will be the interesting one. Long range, armor piercing sniper infantry. These sharpshooters have the highest quality shields, and their projectiles confer the shield breaker contact. The shield breaker contact effect. We're going to the Dowie are going to see lots of Warlock Jezzails because they have the shield breaker. So I'm going to go to here, and yeah. So we look when I look at. Sorry, these rattling guns, I think they're going to be a lot like, where is these? Yeah, warp fire throwers. I think the rattling guns are going to be like a warp fire thrower, which is kind of like that 80 range, and obviously instead of burnt, they're going to slow things down. Maybe rattling gun comes in around 900, you know, 800, 900, something in there. Let me see what else they have here. Yeah. Could sort of see the rattling gun coming in around 800 or 900, and being a unit, you know, also sort of like the dwarf Iron Drake, you know, sort of the same as a Trollhammer or the Iron Drake in terms of their range. So a range of 80. These guys have a range of 80. You know, I imagine them doing heavy damage somewhere in there and being 700 or 800 gold. That seems to make sense to me. Now, for the Warlock Jezzails, long-range armor piercing, I think they are probably going to be like these guys. Where are they? Vampire Coast. Where are they? Right here. Deck Gunners. So these Deck Gunners have a range of 245, and they have the Shield Breaker and armor piercing. So I imagine they're going to be sort of like this unit. Again, they probably will be better because these Warlock Jezzails are going to have silver shields, I think. Let's see what it says. The long-range armor-piercing sniper infantry. These sharpshooters have the highest quality shields, yep, and their projectiles confer the shield breaker contact. So they might have a gold shield. They might actually have a gold shield and have around 245 range, armor-piercing, and the shield breaker, minus 24% missile parry. But I imagine they'll be a little pricier. So they might be maybe the rattling guns are sort of 800 and the Jezzails are sort of 900. We'll see. Like they're going to be. I imagine they're going to be more expensive than the Deck Gunners, and they'll have a smaller group. But because they have the shield breaker, that's a pretty big deal. And we're going to see. You're going to every single fight now against the Skaven dwarfs are going to see Jezzails for sure, 100% chance. Because they just have everything you want. Armor piercing and shield breaker. What else could you ask for? So this may make some things a little... Yeah, we'll have to see what the builds end up being. Doom Flares. So smaller than the Doom Wheel and twice as messy. Doom Flares are designed to punch through enemy lines and deal powerful armor piercing damage. So if we look at the... Sorry, where are you? Doom Wheel, 1400. So maybe the Doom Flare sort of comes in at 1,000. It's more like a smaller chariot. It's like it says directly it's a smaller version, and it's a mount. So maybe it's like 900 because it can be used as a mount. But twice as messy. Doom Flares are designed to punch through the enemy lines. Yeah, they have no special abilities. Is what it's looking like. All right, so the Regiments of Renown. It gets Zap Zap Warp Lightning Cannon. So these arcane artillery pieces stun their enemies with the Zap contact effect, increasing the target's ability. Contact effect is increasing the target ability's cooldown times. So this could be like, where's a Warp Lightning Cannon? So maybe this is like a Warp Lightning Cannon that's kind of like got the 1400, but let's say you shoot at you know, someone like Malekith in the sky, and you keep hitting him, all his abilities will constantly be in cooldowns. Or, you know, you hit any key lords, like any orc lords that need the Wa, you keep hitting them and it increases their cooldown. So it should be interesting. Probably in that 12 to 1400 gold range for that. Clan Vulcan's Tail Snatcher. So clan rats with shields. Firemen and vermin with high weapon strength who deal flaming attacks while being immune to the effect of flames. So clan rats with shields. So we're looking at clan rats with shields, sort of 350. So these units will probably be around 600 gold. That looks like it's in a good space. I mean, dealing flaming damage, not a big deal, but immune to flame. They'll probably have good stats and decent leadership, so they might be a one-off, and certainly matches against undead or factions that have regeneration. It should be interesting to see how they do. Blight Scab's Plague Pack. A Plague Monk Censer Bearers. Heed the word. Blight Scab's Plague Pack have a demagoguery ability, granting the immune to psychology attribute to nearby friendly units. Ooh. Plague Monks. So what are these? Plague Monk Censer Bearers. Plague Monk Censer Bearers. So these guys are 1100. So I imagine these units are 1400, but they grant immunity to psychology to low-level units. So fear and terror would not be as big a deal around them. Could be an interesting idea. I doubt it, because the immune to psychology is useful. I get it, but I mean, you got to plan a Skaven army expecting to struggle against this, but maybe turns out you run that next to some of your leadership and a few of your key units, and you can protect them from being routed. I don't know. Interesting. All right. Teeth Breakers. So Rattling Gun Weapons Team. These sneaky shooters carry concealment bombs, granting them stock and unspottable at a moment's notice. Oh my god. We're definitely seeing the Teeth Breakers. So we we're definitely seeing the Teeth Breaker. So the Rattling Guns don't have a lot of range, but if they can have concealment and stock and unspottable until they get really close, you're going to see them. All right, so Council Guard, Storm Vermin with halberds drilled into the protection of their masters. The Council Guard are unbreakable and have the Guardian ability. Whew! So Storm Vermin, where are you? 1050, I think these guys are, right? No, it'll be the Storm Vermin with halberds. And they'll have the Guardian ability, which is very much like, is it the High Elves that have a unit with this Guardian ability? Keepers of the Flame? Martial Mastery? No. Huh. Phoenix Guard. Master Hoeth. Pure Main Company? Do they have Guardian? Guardian, there you go. So Pure Main Company have Guardian. 18% physical resistance within 30 meters. Yeah. Storm Vermin with halberds. You're going to see this unit with Guardian a lot, because they're unbreakable too. Unbreakable. So Guardian... They have Unbreakable and Guardian? Yeah. So you're going to see Storm Vermin with halberds. These units are probably going to be... Oh, it'll have to be expensive if they're Unbreakable. They'll be 1400 for sure. But they're Unbreakable and have Guardian, so they're going to protect every lord. They're going to be very common, I would imagine. Because they're anti-large, and what do you got to be afraid with your Skaven lord? Sort of getting dive bombed and stuff like that. So you have a armor-piercing anti-large with Guardian... and there's Unbreakable to protect your lords. Yeah, you're going to see that unit on the field there, folks. That is a big deal. Wow. Okay. The Teeth Breakers. No, the Council Guard. Gotcha. So, Natty Bubo's Sharpshooters. Warplock Jezzails. Okay, the Ultimate Sniper Crew. Natty Bubo's Sharpshooters have both the stock and the snipe. Ouch. So this means they're going to get into position... and you might not see them to be able to shoot back at them with artillery. That could be really nasty. Really nasty. Yeah, you're going to see them. Great unit. Love it. Dwarf Thing Menace. Doom Flayers. Perfect for sighting through tough Dowie armor. The Dwarf Thing Menace has a Sunder armor contact effect and causes fear. Yep, we're going to see that. Because there's already a number of Sunder and reduce armor effects that the... Skaven can bring in a dwarf fight, so you're going to see Dwarf Thing Menace in those fights for sure. Interesting. Wheels of Doom. So a Doom Wheel fires fires extra powerful missiles which discourage on contact. Minus 16 leadership. The Wheels of Dooms. It's going to be what, 2,000? Because this Doom Wheel is 1,400. If you have a Doom Wheel that runs around, has fear and terror, and causes discourage. Discourage is 16, right? Let me just check. I think it's 16 leadership. Discourage 16 leadership. Holy! This Doom Wheel is going to have to do that. It's going to have to be really expensive. It's going to be a meme. It's going to be like a steam tank. 4 extra powerful missiles which discourage. Wow. Something that causes fear and terror and discourages and's fast and's hard to stop. This Wheels of Doom are going to be, it's going to be 2,000 gold. For sure, it's going to be expensive. So 5 additional regiments of renown will become available along completion of key projects. These units will only be available in campaign and not custom or multiplayer. Warfire's Wheel, so a Doom Wheel with augmented improved melee stats and regeneration. Okay, Black Hole Flayers. Interesting. And enhanced Doom Flayers that have improved melee stats and cause fear. Doombringer, so Warpfire Thrower weapons team. Increased melee stats in the Unbreakable attribute. Holy crap. This Warfire Thrower weapons team can tar pit other units in melee if attacked. The Eye Takers, Warpluck Jazales, headshot. The Eye Takers enhanced Jazales deal increased damage and they blind their targets. Interesting. Reduce their accuracy, melee stats, etc. Death Dealers, Rattling Gun weapons team. The Rattling Gun perfected. These weapons teams fire their hails of bullets at a longer range. Interesting. Dealing greater damage and with reduced reload times. Yeah, they probably have Rattling Guns are going to have reload times like Trollhammer torpedoes, like 16 seconds. It'll be ridiculous. Okay, here we go. 10 and 1. A red-crested skink emerged as the charismatic prophet of Sotek after a devastating plague was spread across Lustria by clan Pestilence. As he led a migration out of the defiled city of Chakwa, where the disease began, he prophesied the coming of the serpent god and rallied the surviving population of Lizardmen to join his counterattack. As Sotek's cult grew, so did the prophet's following, and for many years Tenenhuan led his apostles to many victories, slaughtering countless captives as sacrificial offerings in the hope that their spilt blood would bring forth the serpent god himself. The Cult of Sotek faction brings 2 new campaign mechanics to Total War Warhammer 2. So the Prophecy of Sotek, 10 and 1 believes that with sufficient sacrifices the serpent god may yet return, bringing salvation to the Lizardmen and the extermination of the Skaven. 10 and 1 will be issued with this series of unique missions, the completion of which grants access to new forms of sacrifice. When performed, these reward 10 and 1 with unique banners, followers, and powerful temporary effects, regiments of renown, and more. Sacrifices to Sotek. As 10 and 1 and his forces win battles against non-Lizardmen armies, they may choose to mark any post-battle captive as sacrificial offerings. As the offerings build, that'll be funny unless it's a dwarf. Then it won't be funny. As the offerings build, they may be spent on performing the sacrifices assessed by the Prophecy of Sotek missions. The ultimate sacrifice, Invocation of Sotek, the highest level of sacrifice, grants 10 and 1 the ability to evoke Sotek himself, manifesting an aspect of the serpent god in battle to deal devastating damage to his foes. Oh my god, I just had a thought. What if they get Lore Master of Sotek to voice the Sotek for this spell? Maybe have like just something in the background that's Lore Master of Sotek saying something. That would be really interesting. Unique Lord, Red-Crested Skink Chief. This should be interesting. So Red-Crested Skink Chiefs are powerful melee-focused lords, capable of leading armies with their own unique skill trees. They may be upgraded to ride a Horned One, Ripperdactyl, and later a fearsome Ancient Stegodon. Unique units. This is where the meat and potatoes are. 10 and 1's armies may recruit and field all new battlefield units. So Red-Crested Skinks, armed with great weapons, red-crested skinks deal armor-piercing damage. Moving at a tremendous pace, they are well-equipped to swiftly outflank an enemy and strike from their side of the rear. So this is not a regiment of renown. This will be just a regular unit, a red-crested skink. So we got our skinks at 300. I bet this unit comes in between 500 and... That'll probably come in about 500 to 600. I bet you that it's going to be a lot like... It's going to be... The Red-Crested Skink is going to be a lot like Nasty Skulkers at 500 with the armor piercing. Or it'll be a lot like these guys. Chaos Marauders with great weapons. So I bet you these guys are going to be 500, between 500 and 600, probably 500 or 550, and they'll be a regular unit. That's a big deal. That's a really nice unit for the Lizardmen, but they're going to have the same problems Skinks have, I imagine, because they don't have that great of leadership, and they have the aquatic trait, and they do lose a few stats because of that. So the Skinks are just not, they're not awesome. I imagine these armor-piercing ones will be not awesome as well. They'll probably be okay and great if they're in water. And they'll be useful, though, because there is no armor-piercing choices in this lineup. That is sort of, maybe not anti-infantry, but at least not anti-large. So, Red Crested Skinks, a big deal. That is going to plug a big hole, and that's not a Regiment of Renown, so you can have 5 or 6 in your lineup if you want. Salamander Hunting Pack. Powerful ranged attack monsters that hurl fireballs, deal flaming attacks in melee, and cause fear. Interesting. Their high speed enables them to reposition swiftly in the field. It looks like they're like a pack. So yeah, Salamander Hunting Pack. Really, really, really on the ball, aren't you there, Sioux Devil? All right. Yeah, should be fun. It'll be. I don't think this adds much of anything to the faction. Except it'll be interesting in certain matchups, maybe against the undead. The Ancient Salamander, a vast and venerable salamander that hurls huge fireballs, dealing high damage and making the target more vulnerable to further flame attacks. Now this, the Ancient Salamander, along with units that can use fire, might be a big deal. So they also deal flaming attacks in melee and cause terror. Ripperdactyl Riders. These should be interesting because they're armor-piercing. Flying anti-infantry cavalry ridden by Skinks, dealing powerful armor-piercing damage in melee. I mean, yes, you'll see these against the dwarfs. It'll be interesting to see how good they are. But they'll be large, so I think they'd be able to be dealt with Slayers. Maybe you won't see them. I don't know. The Ancient Stegodon. Oh, and the Ripperdactyl. So I figure these guys are 500. Salamander Hunting Pack. Ranged attack monsters. What are they going to show up at? Hunting Pack. Yeah, we got our feral cold ones here. Maybe 600. 600 to 700. That'd be a nice stat point. A nice gold. Ripperdactyls. Yeah, they're probably going to be around 1,000. 900 to 1,000. Ripperdactyl Riders. 900 to 1,000. They'll fit right in there. Armor piercing, I would guess. They might be more expensive, but the Ancient Salamander will be sort of that, kind of in that 1,200, maybe 1,400, 1,100 range. It'll be quite a bit bigger there, because it has more effects. The Ancient Stegodon, the Engine of the Gods, a variant of the mighty Stegodon mounted with the Engine of the Gods, which can use the Burning Alignment Beam attack and the Portent of Warding to protect nearby friendly units. That will be interesting. Yeah, that'll be very interesting. The Ancient Stegodon, an Ancient Stegodon, where is that? It's how much already? Ancient Stegodon is 1950. So this will be what, 2,500? The Bastillodon, the Ark of Sotek. The Bastillodon mounted with the Ark of Sotek, able to summon a writhing vortex of poison-dealing serpents around itself in combat. I was hoping it would be more like a Mortis engine, but it looks like it's just a poison effect. So Bastillodon is what? So it might be, this thing might be end up being 1,100. Feral Bastillodon 650. Revivification. Maybe it'll be 900. I don't know. It'll probably be more expensive, like maybe it's 1,400. Depends on how big it is and how powerful it is. It has the Ark of Sotek on it, but we'll see. The Regiments of Renown. So Tenenwan's armies may field all new Regiments of Renown. These are unlocked for recruitment as the appropriate sacrifices are made. The Thunderous One, Ancient Stegodon, armed with the Judgment of Zakmak ability. The Thunderous One calls down bolts of lightning to strike enemies, engaging it in melee. Ouch. Yeah, it'd be kind of like, what's his name? I can't remember. Anyways, an Ancient Stegodon that shoots bolts of lightning when you're around it. Yeah, I don't think that adds a whole lot to the faction. Star Chamber Guardians. This is interesting. Temple Guard. These venerable warriors have expert charge defense, magic attacks, and the Guardian attribute. Okay, yeah. This Guardian attribute's getting a little more prevalent. Would like to see a Dowie unit with it, but it's a good trait. I like it, and it's a good idea. You can protect, like Star Chamber Guardians will be very useful to protect your Slan, right? And they should be. So Colossedon Hunters, Ripperdactyl Riders, Expert Monster Fighters. The Colossedon Hunters have the bonus versus large ability. Okay, so regular Ripperdactyls, bonus versus infantry. The single regiment of renown, the Colossedon Hunters, bonus versus large. So you will see these Colossedon Hunters. Bonus versus large tends to be a little more important in the entire meta than bonus versus infantry. Pop Hopak Cohort, Cold One Spear Riders. So the Pop Hopak cohort do not have the Primal Instinct trait. I see, and are gifted with both Vanguard and immune to Psychology. Okay, should be interesting. Legion of Chakwa, Sour Spears. These legendary Saurus warriors have the Shield of Chakwa ability, granting significant missile resistance to nearby friendly units. Well, that's interesting. It'll certainly be useful against, a number of factions, actually, like dwarfs, wood elves, vampire coast, sure. The Umbral Tide Salamander Hunting Pack. Tireless and stealthy. So they have stealth and they have rowdy. The Umbral Tide have both the stock and perfect vigor. Yeah. That should be interesting. You'll be able to get around. It's like anything with stealth, man, like especially something fast like the salamanders. I imagine there's going to be sort of like that 70-ish speed. Cohort of Sotek, Red-Crested Skinks. Grizzled Veterans, the Cohort of Sotek are unbreakable. Oh, another unbreakable unit. And have the Refuse to Die ability, which temporarily halts their hit point loss in battle. What? Oh my god. I wonder if that's a one-time or if it will cycle every once in a while. Well, you're going to see these, so we'll see how good they are, because Cohorts of Sotek, anything that is unbreakable, you see from time to time, because they will always have a place in this game in certain matchups or certain builds. So the Paho Sentinels, Pterodon Riders, these agile winged warriors have the dodge attribute, conferring 20% physical resistance, and drop Rocks of Sundering, temporarily reducing their target's armor. Interesting. So these guys will be interesting as Pterodon Riders, but dropping bombs, I know from being a gyrocopter pilot for 3 years that it's just too hard. Not going to work. Not going to work. Unfortunately, it's a great idea, though. I love the idea. But running around trying to debuff things by dropping Rocks of Sundering, too much micro. There'll be guys who are good enough to do it, though. I mean, obviously, there's guys that's sort of the top of the skill in this game that are going to be able to do that. But even for them, it's going to cost them some micro, because these things are not easy to push around and target. So that is it. Interesting. So who has got the better deal? I'm going to have to say the Skaven. It's the Warlock Giselles, not the Rattling Guns. The Rattling Guns are kind of a meme unit, and it's not only they're a meme unit, I love how they put them out. It's just like watching Predator. It's like a meme itself. It's a meme unit that's kind of in a meme. They're going to be used for fun. I bet you they're going to be amazing in campaign. Like a unit like this, of course it's going to be amazing in campaign. Probably not that great in multiplayer, with the exception of a few matchups or a few builds. It's just like a Warfire Thrower. Like the Warfire Throwers look cool, the Flamethrower for the Dowie. The Flamethrower and Dowie are the highest DPS ranged unit maybe in the game. They're unbelievable. Even armor piercing, they do so much damage, but they're at that range of 80, it's hard to get it off, and they don't have a big arc to fire, so they're hard to use. But it's a trap warp lightning cannon that increases cooldown times. Pretty big deal. Yeah, I can see it. They have a few key units in here, like this Council Guard. That's a big deal for these guys. To have an unbreakable Skaven unit. Yep. Teeth breakers, yeah. Sneaky concealment. So teeth breakers are rattling guns you might see because they have concealment. The plague pack, I don't think you're going to see, but maybe. Clan rats with shields, you know, with the flaming attacks, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong. It just feels like the Skaven got a little bit more here. Maybe it's getting more of what they need. Mind you, that I guess the Lizardmen got this red-crested skink, which is armor-piercing low-level unit, which is a pretty big deal for them too. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't wait to see this tournament on the weekend and to see some of the other units. I really am going to be looking very closely at all the Dowie cards that show up in that tournament and try and figure out what changes have been made to the Dowie. I will try and make a video going over the changes I hope to see for the dwarfs in this update. Anyways, that's sort of the video. I think I've gone through everything and had a bit of a discussion on it. So with that said, I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you soon.